This is the Refinery featuring Free Radical Network, the party of choice, and the Conservative Union here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Good evening and Merry Christmas, almost. It is, for us today, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2014. This is the Refinery, the place where grassroots organizations come together to explore the best ways to make conservative messaging work to reach and influence more people. You can watch us live every Tuesday at 8:30 Central on therefineryshow.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the videos at your leisure. If you want a podcast, we've got that too. Links to our podcast at Vigilant Liberty Radio. And by the way, we are broadcast live on on tape delay on Vigilant Liberty Radio on Thursday. So if you're listening to us on Vigilant Liberty Radio on Thursday, not Merry Christmas Eve, but Merry Christmas to you. You are in the future. But anyway, if you go to refineryshow.com, you can see links to subscribe to the podcast via Vigilant Liberty Radio or iTunes or Stitcher or TuneIn or whatever. Throughout the week, JD and Felicia put together 5 to 8 minute YouTube clips of the best of shows, so you can see those. We post those on our Conservative Union community, and they're spread throughout Google Plus and Facebook and Twitter. So whatever way you want to listen to or watch the Refinery, you can do it. Refineryshow.com. TheRefineryshow.com. TheRefineryshow.com. I'm told that repeating something over and over and over is effective. I don't know.
Awesome. It's one of those things that you watch X amount of, or you listen to X amount of talk radio and you get that burned into your head. Repetition, yes. repetition.
Right. Yes, we are at therefineryshow.com and on our website, therefineryshow.com. Okay, anyway, it's Christmas and I personally have not dipped into the eggnog yet. I'm actually not a drinker at all. Isn't that sad? I don't really even have that as an excuse for my goofiness. It's all natural. Anyway, what we wanted to talk about, and we wanted to talk about this last week, but we didn't get to it because there were so many other things to talk about. But there was a fabulous article by Arthur C. Brooks of the American Enterprise Institute about, and I think the title of the article was Abundance Without Attachment. And his premise was, we live in truly amazing times, and we're kind of unhappy. And why is that? It's because we are tied to our possessions. And around Christmas, which is supposed to be a time of happiness, let's see, what did Calvin Coolidge say? He said, Christmas is not a time nor a season, but a state of mind. To cherish peace and goodwill, to be plenteous in mercy, is to have the real spirit of Christmas. That was really awesome, and that was really wonderful, and too many of us around this time of year don't feel that at all. We are just completely stressed out. There were even some surveys that I heard about earlier a couple weeks ago where people were happy about Christmas and putting up lights and everything, but they were totally stressed out about shopping. They were not looking forward to buying gifts for people. It was just a horrific hassle. And it's just, and I personally have felt that myself. I was eager to put up my Christmas lights on the day after Thanksgiving and have really enjoyed driving around and seeing everybody's lights, and it makes me happy and smile. But as far as going out and shopping, I haven't wanted to. Just the stress of other people buying me presents when I don't really even care about stuff, and buying presents for other people when they don't care about stuff. It's just ick. And Arthur Brooks's article, he had some really good tips about it. And one of the first things that he talked about was, and these are some philosophical things that don't just help us have a happy Christmas, but to have a happy life. And he said, first, collect experiences and not things. Create a Christmas tradition where my favorite Christmas tradition is that my nephew and I spend a day Christmas shopping together. We've done it every year for the last 20 years. Started when he was like 5, and now it's something we do, and it's my favorite day of the year because I just spend a day with my nephew walking around shopping malls, and we're buying presents, but it's more of the experience than the thing. And I thought that was the what you don't really remember the sofa, you remember the trip to Cancun. You remember the ethereal experiences, and those really matter, not the big physical things that you have in your life, which I thought was cool.
So what you're saying is that we should be getting you a vacation for Christmas is what you're asking for.
If you just send me a whole bunch of cash, then I will decide on some awesome experiences. PayPal. You can send me money, less.tx@gmail.com. That PayPal account is ready and willing to accept your cash.
Nice. Well, I started doing this.
He's going to edit that out in post, isn't he?
Maybe so. I started doing this thing about 8 years ago, I guess, where I went into truffle mode, and as soon as I learned how to make them, I thought, that's something that everybody in the family can do. We started doing name drawing because there just got to be so many of us on both sides, and so, but I still didn't feel like as though it was enough, and I wanted to do something, and I got into the truffle habit, and I was doing the math. It was this year 16 tins and 1,147 truffles, actually 45 because I ate 2. But that said, it's an opportunity for me to take some time, and while I'm making them, think about the family. And so it's not an expensive gift. It's not anything fancy, but I spend a lot of time thinking about the family and the stuff that we've done and enjoying the memories. And I started getting requests now. The family's come to expect it, and that's one of my favorite things. Even though it's difficult, it's one of my favorite things to do during the holidays.
You say it's not expensive, but if you were to actually buy that number, I mean, this is an insane number of truffles for people to make. But if you were to buy that in Godiva, it's close to $3,000. That's insane. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right, and the hours of your labor and stuff. Do you have members of your family help you and work with you? So do you make it a whole family day together, or is that Fishy's day to herself?
I try, but my family is more interested in consumables than in the workable part. So it's probably best that I don't get that much help.
Otherwise, the total volume produced would be considerably less.
Yes, it's a little bit hard on the productivity.
And what's really great is that you document and share your techniques with everybody, because I've seen that on Google Plus the last couple of years. This year, you filmed and showed your technique for dunking them with the alternating forks and stuff. So you're sharing the abundance and the experience with people, which is really, really pretty cool.
Great, Leslie. Now you're making.
Just give me some truffles. Just give me the truffles. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Brass, I'll trade you. Fill me up.
Bring it over. Bring it over.
And Leslie, you're making me work here, because now I'm going to have to put in the footage of Fishy dipping the truffles. It's like I have to download it off of Facebook. I have to put it into the thing, and
yeah,
man.
Because while we're talking about it, you can have the little picture-in-picture of the little forks alternating.
What I'm saying. Yeah.
So I've given the production crew a much more difficult job.
You added about 5 minutes of work to this. It's terrible.
Experiences. See, I'm sharing experiences with you. No?
I see. Yes, that's exactly right. This is my experience, my first experience editing a Christmas edition of the Refinery, having those clips be ready. So yes, for sure.
Well, I mean, am I the only one who's been totally put off by all of the materialism and shopping this year? I mean, it's getting worse every year, I think.
I've been put off for many years, and it's about 10 years ago I was started trying to steer my family towards a more conservative Christmas, in that people were spending money they didn't have on stuff that people didn't want. And we've gone through phases of Christmas where we limited gifts to like no more than $10 unless you wanted to make it. And those were really fun Christmases with the handmade gifts. And still, there were people who got very stressed out that they felt uncomfortable unless they could buy you something.
You know, I went home for Thanksgiving with the family, and we spent a little time at my mom's. It's probably the third Christmas without my father, who was all about Christmas. From the day, you know, that they first started putting up the Christmas decorations till, you know, weeks after Christmas, he just enjoyed Christmas so much. And when I go home and we do present exchanges and we do things like that, nobody's really thinking about the presents. They're talking about the little traditions that Puppy started, and we do things that he would have done, and we remember him. And it's so much more meaningful now, even though we've lost him, and because of all the things that he used to do that made it fun, that made it interesting, and just how much he enjoyed Christmas like a little kid even. It changed the meaning of Christmas for me, and family and things like that, just having him gone, and it reminds me definitely that we do have to sort of examine our lives, because we won't always have the people in our lives that we want and that we have now, and that we should be spending that time doing meaningful things with them rather than trying to, you know, stress over, you know, what am I going to put in a box for them.
Right, and that's kind of where I think so many of us need to get to, and it's like Arthur was talking about detachment, and the things in your life are not the important things, and that's, I suppose it's kind of Buddhist, but oddly, when you're less attached to things, you're more fulfilled. The more disconnected you are from stuff, the more connected you can be with actual people somehow, because the stuff isn't in the way. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's the less I want, the more I enjoy the abundance I already have, the more contentment I already have, and I see so few people truly content is the thing that I think disturbs me, and I don't know how to inspire or work towards achieving that more for more of the world. I'm just sort of, other than telling everybody read this Arthur Brooks article because it'll really help.
You know, I find myself on the opposite end of the spectrum as far as the giving goes, and I think part of it is because of my own personal experiences. Because I've spent a number of years, really more decades, not having the financial ability to be able to pay or to get gifts for people, and wanting, you know, having that desire, seeing this perfect gift and going, you know, I really like to get this one thing, not like 10 things, but one thing for this friend, and I just don't have the financial cash to do so. And finally, my wife and I are in a position to be able to actually have, you know, that Christmas that we've always wanted. You know, the lights are up, the trees are up, the presents are wrapped. I actually wrapped some today. And they're under the tree, and it's like it feels Christmassy. And I'm not saying that gifts are, you know, what Christmas is about, but you know, that was the thing that I wanted, was, you know, the nice tree, the lights, the warm home, the you know, wife that I was able to come home to, and that feeling of Christmas. And today she messaged me and says, I'm planning out where we can go, you know, look at lights tomorrow, and so we're going to drive around and look at Christmas lights. And you know, it's little things like that that really, for me, make the season as much about not giving as it is about giving. It's finally, I have the financial